Hey guys, Jade Scarlett here with It's Art O'Clock Somewhere. So we are ready finally after a week hiatus to resume our paint-alongs with Michael's watercolor kits. So today I decided to revisit the Sea Life because I really want to paint this octopus. I just can't resist all of these beautiful oranges and violets and red violets and blues. So I decided I'm going to do that. And it's going to join the little whale. I kind of chopped a little bit of her nose here. I just feel so bad. I always feel like I have to get another kit now and paint another one. I really shouldn't do that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for your patience. I know it's been a few days. I should look at that camera or this one. I don't know. I'm confused. I have like 3 cameras. But clumsy girl here fell from the bike and I hurt my wrist pretty bad. So it was out of commission for past week, and it was swelling, it was sore, it was hurting every time I moved, but now it's a-okay and I'm ready to bike again. Yes, and continue painting. So really excited to paint this octopus guy with you today. Let me see if I can I don't know, I'm not going to be looking at that camera very much, but the one that I definitely want you to pay attention, if you want, of course, you can do whatever you want, is the project cam, because this is where you can see the project enlarged. So I went to the Michael's website where the product is, and I took a screenshot, a big screenshot of the octopus so you guys can see it. So really excited to paint another design by the very talented designer team at Michael's. I met one of their designers, Rebecca Phillips, and hi Rebecca if you're watching. And she's one of the designers of this wonderful series of watercolor kits. So go to Michael's, guys, get yours some before they're gone forever, because you know how some of those seasonal products at Michael's are. You know, they're here today, they're gone tomorrow. The regular price is $9.99, but you can get with a 20% discount, and it comes down to insert math and numbers. I think $7.99 or $6.99, something like that. But it's very inexpensive because it comes with 4 projects, and the projects are already pre-printed on the watercolor paper. So you don't have to do anything. They're ready to go. And let me tell you something. I'm pretty finicky about my watercolor paper. You can ask any of my students, and if you're my student and you're watching this, you know how I'm always going on and on about good paper. And this is a fairly good paper, you know, for what it is. It's a really good paper. It also comes with a small palette, and it has 15 colors, a really good range of colors. I actually made a color chart here. The names are not here. I'm just basing on my own experience and what those colors look like to me from every other watercolor that I know. And it also comes with a size 8 brush. So do you need to get anything else? I'd say no if you really don't want to, but I find that just one brush is not enough for me. First of all, I like to use multiple brushes so I don't rinse the brush a lot. So I have one brush for water, one brush for pigment. So that just makes it faster. Of course, if you buy more than one, which I'm sure you will, because when you see the amazing designs, and you can refer to my first video, so you can just scroll down. I think I posted that video 2 Saturdays ago where I showed every single one of them. So there is all kinds of different subjects: flowers, landscapes, seascapes, cute animals, wildlife, cats, dogs, gems and gemstones and minerals, natural elements, leaves and mushrooms, candy, dessert, you name it. There is a collection for everyone. So I doubt you're going to be able to get just one. You definitely want to get more. So you have more than one brush. But I do want to get some larger brushes. So when I was at Michael's, I always picked up some extra brushes. Do you have to? No, absolutely not. But if you want to, the ones that I bought this here because I've been meaning to try them for a while. And they are by Royal and Langnickel. And they're called Zen, just Zen, Z-E-N. And they have a variety of shapes. So you have flats and brights and the rounds, which are my favorite ones. And I like because I have some larger brushes that I can use in larger areas, like in this particular painting that we're going to do today. I grabbed Artist Loft, some of this here. I know they're for acrylics, but I wanted to try anyways. They're also Michael's brands. I also grab a couple of Princeton Snap. So, you know, you can have whatever brushes you want. If you already have brushes at home, hey, use those. If not, and you want to grab some more, fine. Also, you can use watercolors if you already have. I do have here one of my favorite palettes is my Holbein palette. So I might dip here and there in these colors. But if all you want to get is the kit, I promise you can do what I'm going to do with just the kit. Now, something else that I might use is some rubbing alcohol. Let me get it here. And that's if you want to create some special effect, and also some salt, just some regular table salt. I don't know if I'm going to use those, but I may. So if you want to try, why not, right? Okay, so let me put in the chat. Hold on one second. I don't want to do this. Guys, just give me 1 second. I am trying to copy. Yeah, it doesn't let me do that. I don't know. Let me put it again. I'm just going to, I just put the link to the kit. Okay, disclaimer, I am not affiliated with Michael's. This is not a page promotion. I'm not getting anything, okay? I just really, really like those designs. They are delightful. And one thing that I noticed is that they don't have a lot of instructions. They do have some instructions here in the back, some basic, very good instructions. So I do suggest that you read them because they are good instructions. But let's be honest, if you've never painted in watercolor before, it might be a little bit daunting because those are some pretty cool paintings. So why did I decide to do this? Because I know that a lot of my students are watching. Hey guys, you know who you are. I know that some of my audience on my different channels, because this is being broadcast to YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. So if you're watching this and you want to paint, but you don't know how to paint, you never painted in watercolor, you never painted before, you never touched the brush before, and you buy something like this, you might be a little confused as to how do I really paint this? So this is why I decided to do this lives. So you guys can grab this awesome kit and paint along with me. But I bought it with my own money. Michael's has nothing to do with this, okay? I do love Michael's. I have to say that. I shop there a whole lot. Probably once a week, maybe more. I just got a package today that I got in the mail with lots and lots of fun embroidery kits. That is the subject of another live. They have some really cool embroidery kits that I want to share with you guys, and I'll probably be doing more live. So if you don't know how to stitch either and you find it hard to follow the diagrams on the directions, bam, I had you covered. I'm going to show you that as well. So without further ado, let me switch to the overhead camera because you don't need to see my face, although you're going to be seeing my little face on the other box. What you want to be paying attention is to the overhead camera, excuse me, overhead camera, which I'm going to switch to right now, and the project cam, so I can refer to and you can see it a little bit bigger. All right, so let's get this party started, shall we? Let me just switch to my other camera. And takes me a moment here, you guys. I'm a one-woman show. It's me and myself running this show. All right, all right. Okay, so let's get this. I want to be nice and on top. Here's my palette. I have some paper towels. I have my color chart here. I also have a cup of clean water. I do have another bigger container off camera where I'm going to be rinsing my brush. I do also have some scrap paper so I can mix some color and see if I like. I am going to use this area here to mix. It's too small. And I didn't like mixing on the lid, so I'm just going to use those mixing spaces that I have on this other palette. So the very, very first thing I did was to attach this cute guy. Oh, isn't he cute? Look at his little eyes. I attached this to a board with some painter's tape, just to keep the watercolor paper put. I'm not going to paint all the way to the edge, but I just wanted to keep the paper put. Okay, and I'm going to, very, very first thing I'm going to do is to wet my palette. So I'm just going to squirt some water, and that is going to activate the paints and make them soft and easy to pick up with the brush. Okay, and I'll try to keep the palette here. I'm also going to wet this colors here because I might want to add some of it. I don't know. I mean, who can resist all those colors? Oh my God, you guys. Actually, I was making this palette today because I wanted to add more color. So I just got those little containers that I glued around. So now I have lots and lots of color in this palette. Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to tackle the, and I know okay, I'm going to bring it here and then I'll put the palette cam back there. Ooh, okay, let me put this here in case I need. And this is just paper, but here is our guy. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start by adding these blues and these bubbles all around him, shall we? Because the tentacles are also going to be this blue. So I just want to start with that blue and some splashes of purple and just kind of like surround him a little bit. Okay, so let me put this back where the project cam is. Here we go. So you can look at it if you want. Hold on. Like I say, guys, please be patient with me. I'm a one-woman show here. Okay, so let's mix some colors, shall we? And I'm going to use the spaces here to mix the color. And I'm going to get so many fun blues that we have here. I'm going to get some of the cerulean and some of the cobalt. And I'm also going to get some of this dioxazine purple. And those are not names that came with the colors. Those are just names that I think they look like. And I'm going to go for one of my large brushes. So I just grabbed my size 12 Princeton Snap, and that's just so I can grab a lot of color. So here is the cobalt, and you see how easier it is to grab the color once you wet it a little bit. And I'm grabbing some water. So I'm just, when my hand is off camera, all I'm doing is grabbing some water because I want to have plenty. I'm going to mix quite a bit of color here, so I don't have to go back and mix more. So, grab the color. This is such a pretty color. Actually, it looks so much like this color here, which, if I'm not mistaken, is called Verditer Blue. I think this one here is a little bit more the Michaels one has a little bit more red. But you know what? Boom, 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 boom. They can get mixed all together. And let's start with that, shall we? Because I don't want to waste all the paint that I have on the brush. So I do want to paint this wet on wet because I want it to bleed on the edges. So I'm going to get my big flat wash, the Zen. And let me put this brush here that is loaded. Just get some water. So I'm going to get my cup of water here. And I don't mind the going over the bubbles because I'm going to put some purple right over them in a little bit. So just need to get this wet. And the reason I'm doing this, I'm wetting it first, is so I don't have a hard edge. And by that I mean a well-defined edge. I want the blue to start really close to Mr. Octopus here, or I don't know. I don't know. I feel that she could be a girl. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Talk to me. Tell me. You a girl? I think you are. Okay. I might put some water here on the side as well, because I think I have enough time to do both sides. So the reason why I'm putting the water is so I get that nice diffused look. So I think it's a little bit dark. Sorry about that. So more lights now. Yay, this is much better, right? So now I'm going to start dropping, and you see what's happening because my paper is wet. The color is dispersing in that water that I added previously. And this is the reason why I chose to wet it. So this technique is actually called wet on wet. And that's because I am wetting the paper first with just plain water and then putting the pigment on top. So I'm carefully going around the edge here, the outline of Miss Octopus, and then just allowing the color to bleed towards that water. So I see here that the paper is beginning to dry. So what I'm going to do, and this is why I like to have multiple brushes. Here is actually the brush that came with the set. I'm just going to add a little bit of water and allow to continue bleeding. Here's my paper, and I'm going to let it bleed. And I actually want a little bit of that cooler blue, the cerulean here. So I'm going to grab a little bit with my wet brush and just let it drop and mix with the cobalt. So I have both of them. Rinse the brush so I can blend them better. Add some more water so things stay nice and wet here. You see how I'm just grabbing some of the color here and just adding plain water? That's because things got a little bit too dark there, and I just want it to be a little bit lighter. So grabbing a little bit more of the cerulean. Oh, that's like juicy pigment there. You see that? And a little bit more of our mixture, which I still have on the brush. So see, another reason why I like to have multiple brushes is because I hate to, hate is a strong word. I really don't like to waste paint. And if I have to rinse this to get another color, I'm kind of wasting paint, right? Because the paint just is going in the bowl, in the water bowl. Okay, so this part here dried as expected. So I'm just going to add a little bit more, and I'm using my flat brush, my Zen flat brush. I kind of like this collection by Royal Legnical. They imitate natural hair. So this one here in particular is a squirrel imitation. And it does have that floppiness of a natural brush, a squirrel brush. It does carry quite a bit of pigment, which is something that would also be expected from a natural brush. But it's not as floppy, you know? It does have a teeny little bit of spring, which is a good thing. And you can get all of that without harm being done to any squirrels. Because I don't know what they do to the squirrels. I don't know if they just shave them and use the fur. We can't tell, right? And rather than believe that manufacturers are being kind to the animals, on the off chance that they are not, I rather just get synthetic brushes that imitate what a natural brush can do. All right, I'm really liking this little dash of the cerulean in the cobalt. Adding a little bit more, and I'm going to continue doing this all around the scroll. I have some tighter areas here, so rather than use that big, let me come closer so you guys can see in a close-up. Rather than use that big flat brush that I was using until a minute ago, I'm just going to use this smaller round. Again, that's the advantage of having multiple brushes, you know. You can put this one on the other side. You can just use a different brush for different things. So right now I'm working with 3 brushes, and I have one with water, just plain water to wet the paper, and one with the cobalt blue mix, and one with the cerulean, just plain cerulean. And this here is just cobalt blue. I just kind of added a little bit of the color that I had on my other palette that is very similar to it, but it's otherwise, I didn't mix with anything. It is just the cobalt blue on the Michael's palette. Artist Loft, I think that's what the Michael's brand is called. I happen to like their products quite a bit. I have the dual markers, and they are just as good as Tombow. I honestly can't tell the difference, and neither can my students if I don't mention which one is which. The only thing that is a major disadvantage is that it doesn't come in that many colors, unlike Tombow that has, I don't know, maybe over 150 colors. I think that the Michael's, the Artist Loft only comes in, I want to say 36, but it could be 24, so don't take my word for it. Let me go farther away so you guys can see. But other than that, is excellent. Another product that I like a lot is the acrylics. So the big tubes, not the little tubes that come in a set, the ones that look like Liquitex Basics. And let me tell you something, you guys. You're paying more for the Liquitex Basics, and the reality is the Artist Loft is just as good. I don't see a difference at all. So when I do get a Liquitex Basic, and I do have several Liquitex Basics, is only because I want that particular color. Not at all because I feel that it's better than the Michael's brand. I like it, and it's a little bit cheaper. I think it's like $1 cheaper or $1.50. And hey, makes a difference, you know? You can buy more colors with the money that you save. I love when they have the buy one, get one half off sale. Or, of course, you have the 20% entire purchase every week, but here and then they will give you a 30% off entire purchase. So that's when you stock up. I usually stock up on embroidery floss and paint. Scrapbook paper, you name it. When I see that coupon, this girl is on fire. Like, boop, gotta have it. But yeah, let me see what else I really like from the Artist Loft brand. What else? The brushes are pretty good. They don't have a huge, no, I'm lying. They do have, I always forget about the open stock. I was thinking about sets. The open stock, they have a lot, and I really like them, especially the oil brushes, the oil and acrylics, the green handle, really, really fantastic brushes. I like the mops, the watercolor mops. So Really good quality. Okay, turn it around and around and around, and we're almost there and almost there. And I'm gonna try. I know that I will not probably be able to paint the whole octopus because I don't want this live to go on until tomorrow. So I'm gonna try to keep it under an hour, and we are at halfway mark right now, so we still have a half an hour to paint. Now I hope that you are watching live, and if you are, please guys comment, say something so I know that you're there. Even if you just, scrolling by, and take a moment to give me a like, give me a comment. That helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps my videos come up on your feed more often. So if you're enjoying watching this video and the others in this series, do me a favor, just take a moment. Seriously, I promise it's not going to take more than a minute. In fact, it's going to take less than that for you to just give me a like and pop in a comment. Say, do you have any questions? Or even if you don't have any questions, just pop me a comment because, just help me out. Help my page grow. That'll be very nice and very, very, very much appreciated. Also, it lets me know that you're enjoying it, because I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this because I want you to have fun painting. I want you to enjoy this project. It's a very fun, inexpensive way to get your watercolor skills going. If you are one of my previous students, this is one excellent way to practice what you've learned in class with a project that it's already designed for you, so you don't have to go through the whole process of thinking, oh, what do I want to paint? Now I need to look for some reference images, so let me scout sites like Pixabay and what's the other one that I use? Unsplash, etc., to find royalty-free pictures so you can create a project and then think about the palette you want to use, create the sketch, create the final drawing. And hey, I'm not saying don't do that by all means. I love that process. I truly enjoy going through the whole process of imagining what I want to paint, to have it ready on the paper so I can start painting. But I'm saying that there are times when you don't want to go through that process. You're just aching to get your brushes out and start painting. So this is it, you guys. This watercolor kit is what you've been waiting for. All the thinking has been done for you, so you don't have to wait to get to this part. You can get painting right away. So go get yourself some before they're gone. I managed to get all of them. I thought I didn't have the flowers, but luckily my local store restocked, and the next day they had it. So, of course, that was just an excuse for me to get not only the kit that I was missing, but other things, because, it's like, you don't go to Michael's for one item, much like you don't open a bag of potato chips to just eat one chip, right? So this is the last part. At this point, oops, sorry. Let me open if you are looking at the project cam. It was the palette cam, but I decided to just put the project there. It's a work in progress, you guys, okay? I'm just working with this new technology, new to me, the StreamYard, and it allows me to stream to multiple platforms at once. See here? Didn't have enough water, just add more, and bam, all of that was erased, so I could add more water. So don't be afraid to, you know, changing things if you're not happy with them. So what I was saying, yeah, about StreamYard, and had some hiccups. The quality of the video wasn't that great yesterday, so I was with them on the phone. Oh, not on the phone, sorry, on the chat for a while. Yay, the whole background is done until we sorted out what needed to be done. So I really hope that it's coming out nice and clear. So the money I'm paying for this streaming service is well worth it. So you guys are getting good quality images. I know you're getting a good sound because I have a new mic and it's doing a really good job. But I want to make sure that you also have good image. Okay, so I'm grabbing my heat gun. It can be a blow dryer, whatever. And I'm just going to dry this so we can continue painting. So, sorry, this is going to be loud. I'm just drying with the heat gun for a couple of reasons. One, because obviously I want this to dry so we can continue painting. And two, because I want the paper to flatten a little bit. So when you use a blow dryer or a heat gun to dry the paper flattens somewhat. It's not going to go back to what it was before, but at least it flattens. Or at least I hope it does. And I noticed that maybe I shouldn't put that camera there right here because you can see my camera right in front of my face. Okay, I'm gonna put this on the side, and sorry, I don't want to make you all dizzy moving the cameras, but I am going to move this camera here. Okay, yeah, better now, right? So here we go. Okay, so back to the palette. So I'm going to put this guy on the side and let's talk about the colors. Let me bring it here. Let's talk about the colors now for the, no, I just lost it. I don't know where it is, you guys. Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. I have like 20,000 pictures. I'm the worst and I'm not very organized. So if I can't find them, that's crazy. Okay, so here I see that the artist had a lot of fun painting this octopus. There is a combination of wet on dry and wet on wet. And I see some oranges. I see the Scarlet Lake. I also see the Scarlet Lake maybe mixed with a little bit of cobalt to create this beautiful red violet. There is a little bit of the cobalt by itself here. And here you have some of that dioxazine purple. So there's lots and lots of nice colors here. Now, the challenge here will be to make sure that our oranges don't really touch some of those violets and red violets. And that's because they are colors that are opposite on the color wheel. Let me grab a color wheel real quick so I can talk to you guys about that and why it matters. Okay, so here's our color wheel. Now, this red oranges and oranges, right? And then you have some of those more on the orangey yellowy side. When you look directly across the color wheel, you see that you have blue and blue violet, which is what those are more red violets. So you're not going to have that much of a problem here. But with those blue violets, what happens is when you combine colors that are directly opposite on the color wheel, they neutralize each other. So the color might get a little bit gray down. So to avoid that, because as you see, it's nice and bright here, except for those more neutral areas here, we are going to work in layers. So I'm going to start with a layer of orange and some yellow. So there is a little bit of a difference here. I don't want to put just a flat layer. I might even use a little bit of the yellow ochre. And then we're going to dry and we're going to layer with those beautiful pinks and purples and red violets. So you see here, this layer is sitting on top, wet on dry. So we have wet on wet and wet on dry. Okay, so I'm going to put this back on the palette cam. Let me make sure that is there for you to see. Oops. Okay. And let's get our little palette, and here's my mixing area. And actually, in this case, I'm not even going to mix anything, you know, I'm just going to bring this guy back here. I'm going to wet the palette again, have some water, and I'm going to have a couple of brushes so I can grab the different colors. So those are the brushes that came with it, and a larger brush just to wet the area. So I'm going to start by wetting the entire head area here. So plain water. And that's why I needed to make sure that the background is dry. Otherwise, this color will bleed onto the background. Because remember, water always follows water. So if you have something that is wet and you paint an area adjacent to it, guess what? That is going to bleed. The colors are just going to mix. And if that's what you want, great. But if you don't want that, then we're going to need to avoid it. Okay. Ooh, look at how beautifully this orange is dispersing. With some more water, get a little bit of yellow to mix with it. Let me zoom in. Why do I keep saying that? I always catch myself saying, let me bring the camera closer. It's like, I'm not bringing the camera closer. I'm just pressing the zoom button. I'm even going to get oops, that's too much. Even get a little bit of this yellow ochre because it's such a nice, lively yellow ochre. I like yellow ochre. Is a more muted yellow. Not as as muted as raw sienna. I find raw sienna to be much moodier. You know, like if yellow ochre was a mood, it would be sunny. It would have a sunny disposition if yellow ochre were a person, I want to say. Whereas raw sienna would be more of an emo person. Trust me, I lived with a teenager who was very emo all the time. But then again, a lot of teenagers act like that. I swear, for years and years, I thought my child was gone. And then one day he came back. I'm like, oh, there you are. You know, I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, I just looked at my computer screen, and I don't know if it's my screen or if that's how or that's my camera, my overhead camera, but it's not showing the orange at all. This is much more saturated than it appears on the screen. And again, I don't know if I need to adjust my own monitor or if this is a problem with adjusting the settings on the camera, but trust me when I say that this is way more orangey than you're seeing here. Now, there isn't as much orange down here in the tentacles. So I'm going to add a little bit more water here. There is some orange that comes this way, and then it's mainly purple. But there is some orange that still go here. And because I want to make sure that this is dry before I add my purples, I'm just going to add this orange all around. I mean, I meant to say whatever I want the orange to be. Just checking to see if there are any comments. Like I said before, guys, I really, really would appreciate a ton if you are just scrolling by and you're stopping to watch this for a little bit. Please just hit that like button, and better even, post me a comment, even if it's something very quick. Doesn't have to see this and so much. Tell me whether you're enjoying this or not. And if you want to go even further to help a girl grow her page and her audience, then share. Hit the share. If you think that there's a friend that might be on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter right now, and they would benefit from this, they would just like to relax and, you know, watch someone paint. Because let's be honest, right? Sometimes it isn't even about us painting. It's just relaxing to watch someone else paint. I mean, hello, Bob Ross. I'm not comparing myself to Bob Ross because I wouldn't do that. But he could relax you, right? You could just watch him for hours and hours and just feel so chill afterwards. So help a girl. Help me out, you guys. I'm asking you. I'm putting a little request out there, you know? Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Hit that subscribe. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Subscribe. My channel is teeny weeny. I only have like 55 people. Probably 53 of them are my family. So just, you know, give a girl a chance to grow as well. So please like, subscribe, and comment. And if you comment, tell me where you're commenting from, because I'm not sure if it shows here on the, I'm inside the studio. And I'm not 100% sure if it shows where the comment is coming from. So I'm going to dry this so I can start working with the red, violets, and the purples. And you want to make sure if you're going to glaze, and glaze is when you put a color on top, a layer on top of an existing layer, you want to make sure that is really dry. Otherwise, you run the risk of pulling the colors. Okay, so now that we have that, let's mix some of those purples and red violets. And for that, I'm going to need to mix some color a little bit. And I'm going to get a brush here to mix some color. So I know that there are areas, and I'm going to mix right on top of this blue because they're in the same family. So I'm not going to get a muddy color here. So I want to have this lovely wisteria color. Wow, this just makes me think of this neighbor where I used to live before in New York. He had the most beautiful, beautiful flowers in his front porch, and there were gorgeous wisteria climbing the walls, and oh, beautiful. And this color reminds me of that. So get a little bit of water here. I do want to mix some red violet. So you know what? I'm just going to use here and add a little bit of this warm red. So I'm going for the crimson. And I'm going to mix with a little bit of blue. It kind of got a little bit of the blue right next door to it, and that's okay, to give me some red and violet. So you see this is much more intense than the one here, the wisteria. I'm going to wash my brush out, and maybe here on this little corner I'll manage to add a little bit of this blue by itself so I can drop in. I just want to have some different options, and I'm going to clean my brush really well because here on a separate area I want to mix some light washes. I'm going to add both reds, and then this is something that I don't do very often, but I'm going to do here. I'm going to add a little bit of white. Here. Maybe a little bit more red here. And those are just some initial layers. I'll see what I'm going to do as I paint, adding it wet on dry. So, oops, the other camera died for some reason. After however long, the other camera, my phone, just leaves the studio. It's okay. You guys don't just see my face. So now I'm going to start painting this lovely, let me get the iPad here with the picture. So I'm going to start layering those pinks on top and then start adding those purples. So that's our next step. Let me put that back there so you guys can refer to it if you want. And much better. This brush is a little bit too big, so let me move down to a smaller one. And I am grabbing small amounts of the white and then the pink that I have on the palette next to me. And I'm just layering this. So this here is wet on dry. So I'm working on the surface that is already dry. And I don't want all of the orange to disappear. So I'm going to make sure that I can still see it, you know? So just adding those, and I'm just grabbing some white on my brush, and it makes those lovely bubblegum pinks. And here, I'm actually going to add a little bit of the red violet. And again, the camera is not doing my colors justice because this is actually showing as brown, but believe you me, this is not. This is a red violet here. Okay, so a little bit more here. I do want to add some interest, so I'm going to get this green gold. And I'm going to add here on the eye. I'll come back and paint the black. Put a little bit of yellow as well because it's kind of like yellowy green. Just kind of softening some of those edges here and mixing. I wish you guys could see how pretty this purple is because it's not at all brown. I will take a picture at the end when I'm done painting and I'll post so you guys can see. And we are just reaching the hour mark. So what I think I'm gonna do, because I don't want to go over an hour, I will finish recording and I will post it tomorrow so you can watch the rest of it, because we are at 57 minutes and I did say I wanted to keep this under an hour, and I will try to do just that. So let me just add a little bit of that purple that I mixed before. I guess I'll just keep painting until we hit an hour. We have 2 more minutes. All right. Oh, this is really pretty. This, I just add a tiny little bit of white. Sorry, sometimes I just get so mesmerized by the color that I catch myself not finishing the sentence. Sorry about that. Okay, so I will build up on this. I will continue recording here on the StreamYard Studio, and I will post a link for you guys to watch the end of it. So I'll be able to edit and speed up here and there, so we don't have to go over an hour. So I have quite a bit to do still, and this is what I'm going to be doing on the video that I'll record. I'm going to finish the red and the purple tentacles. I'm going to add all those nubs that the octopus has. They look like, a bunch of little warts. I'm going to add those bubbles here around, and I'm going to paint the underside of the tentacles. So I will finish, and I will post the end of the video tomorrow for you guys to watch. And I will come back tomorrow for more watercolor painting kits by Michaels. So I'll see you tomorrow. I will post in the morning on the page, on my Facebook page. It's Art O'Clock Somewhere, as well as in the group. If you're a part of my group, it's Art O'Clock Somewhere, the time that I will broadcast. It will be sometime in the afternoon, early afternoon, because I'm teaching classes tomorrow until late. So just stay tuned. I will post it tomorrow. All right, guys. Thank you so much for spending time with me painting this lovely, lovely octopus. Let me switch to the FaceTime camera so I can say goodnight to you guys. Oh, camera, where are you? She's coming back. Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope you have enjoyed painting, and I will post the rest of this painting tomorrow for you to finish painting if you're following along. If not, just enjoy. Thank you for spending this time with me. All right, guys. Sending you lots of love. And remember, it is always Art O'Clock Somewhere. Mwah. Oh, my love. Stay creative. Bye.